Hello, welcome to Animal Audit Corner. Today we are doing one of the We Stand Tall topics. And apostate Alex from across the pond in his studio again after being in here in the United States. Now you known for being a United Kingdom citizens who is from with an upbeat personality and a good sense of values to his good mortality to an owner that he has more of his fair share of hardships in his life that and would have for a novel. Alex is one of the leaders of the SPTV community in Europe, and he is known to be should be ashamed of what they are doing to apostate Alex. It's so despicable. OSA is going out of their way to try and make Alex's life miserable, but only it's backfired because it only made him look so amazing and only made them look bad. Not only they had hate sites here on YouTube and have League is a hate magazine that they also have. He's not complaining much because he thinks it is only making them look ridiculous. He is really raising awareness out about Scientology. And there are people who are taking notice out there in the world about the whole organization. Alex went to Scientology's site and showed all the Scientologists there. Only YouTube got contacted by Scientology and got complaints about him posting photos on his channel. So now he's blocked their face. Then started to show their pictures only with the Scientologists across their eyes. I'm convinced he's trying to block out their face. Do we know what he looks like? I certainly don't. He showed photos of young children getting exploited and abused by Scientology, not the actual photos. He told people that after they take pictures, they would be exploited by sexual abuse. I think that's what he really meant. I didn't like it the way I said it before, so I gave you another version. He even addressed in 1980. He even put out information in 1984. Lord Justice Lady would rule that Scientology is a dangerous cult that kidnaps, including young children. Then he showed a young 19-year-old man named Luca who was showing off his certificate where he completed OT 5, which is one of the high rankings. Nikki completed. Then a young lady named Nikki completed OT 3, but the fact that she is a child and got her to donate money to, but in fact, David Miscavige, that she's not aware that David Miscavige is pocketing that money. Then finally, Alex is standing tall against Scientology and told that cult what he really thought of. And ultimately, he told them, that organization, that he had a huge surprise for them, and that might be in a form of he was standing up to those bullies. But overall, he didn't tolerate any of their tactics, and he wasn't going to let them get away. In conclusion, Alex was not going to let them fair game him. Now, from Prostate Alex to our Harriet L.A. She has a will of a good fighter when she's at a public works meeting. Audit usually has a tough persona that's so firm when she's at the podium. Her will is really warm and very loving when she is speaking at the public works meeting about what's in those blue buildings. Audit LA is known to make an accomplish when she has something for the former Scientologists and their people. Our heroine was going in with a good fight when she is at the public works meeting. And this is a woman who has, of course, she's quadriplegic and is in a wheelchair. And she accomplishes a lot. Audit LA is at the public works meeting. She is speaking out against the slave labor at Scientology's building and has at the infamous blue building. All the Scientologists that work for slave labor but the set whenever there's an event on, they work 10 to 15 hours a day for $47, and they have them as volunteers. As some of you, and of course, David definitely found short. He definitely found a way to get out of paying people. He did it by and had them as volunteers. And though those of you who is, you know that they slave wages while the cult leader is living like royalty. And they would also work at a concentration camp that's a part of a workforce. That see them as offended. They do sometimes, they just don't want to put their foot down with them that often, because usually money talks. So they don't really do anything unless. And so far, they are not obeying any of the bylaws in any of the permits they get when they are wanting to close the street for an event. Not only that, they get permit after permit after permit, and then to try and keep protesters off and pass it off. And they block other people from walking through that sidewalk. Of course, you remember back in April, Audit LA had to call the police to have them let people walk through. And the police even told them they can't. But once they leave, according to Audit LA, they went back to not letting people pass on the after to withhold all the permits that they would require, that they for until they fulfill their end of the bargain, which is practically never. But doesn't really do anything that often, but they only put their feet down. Like I said, when she addresses the whole problem to the City Hall Board of Public Works and told all of them that OSA is not honoring any of the permits. They're just doing whatever they are, just getting the street permit to close the street, but they are not following any of the rules for any of the permits that they are giving by the city. Our favorite heroine has other days at a public meeting as you know, she is known for being the voice for everyone at Scientology, infamous blue building in LA. At the public, she is speaking out against the slave labor at Scientology's blue building has at the infamous street, which is L. Ron Hubbard. Then ultimately, she told them to withhold all the permits that they would request until they fulfill their end of the bargain, which is practically never. But it's unlikely that they would follow any. But if they do it one day and then go back to their old tactics again. Nevertheless, she really endured a lot when she's attending those public meetings. When OSA was concerned, they had private investigators tail her. Then ultimately, David Miscavige had them interview neighbors. Did they have anything against Audit LA? I really don't think so. She follows the law herself. And of course, you know, she has nothing to hide. Because it's leading up to those private investigators harassing her entire family, and they are making her life. She is not backing out of any fight because she is continued to attend. Not only that, she is not going to abandon any of her protests. No, she is going to continue to picket, and she is not going to stop because David Miscavige wants her to. She's going to do it anyway. Good for you, Audit LA. No way, she will never wrap up any of her activities when it comes to protesting or going to any of those meetings. Going to walk off into the sunset. She is going to make sure Scientology event things on permits. She's going to make sure that they follow every bylines in that permit. Then in conclusion, she is not going to quit until she and the entire SP community has a victory party at the end. And it's gonna be when they shut Scientology's door completely. Now, they're not going to change any tactics, and they don't want to negotiate. So they brought on the fight at the end. Then, all right, everybody. As I mentioned yesterday about Laura FM and her dad in a hate site produced by Scientology, I told all of you to go on their site and give it a thumbs down and do not. And if you want, tell them what you think of them and what they're doing to Laura FM and her dad. But if you don't want to do it, I'll respect that. But we have to show our support for Laura FM. So I encourage you to go there, give it a thumbs down, and do not press subscribe. But at the same time, if you don't want to do it, I understand. But we have to show our support for Laura FM. Because at the end, we should make sure she gets her dad back. So hit the like, press subscribe, and I'll see you tomorrow for a great recipe idea. Bye.